Okay, my lovely ladies, today I have part 5 of our present over perfect final 2 sections, and I was going to try to do both of these in one, but I didn't want the video to be that long, so I'll do part 6 with the next edition. So part 5 is titled Living in Time, and to me this section was sort of all about just her little takeaways about her journey, her realization, and her current struggles to still fight with herself to live on purpose and to be present over perfect. So in the chapter called Clearing Away, she talks about how she's giving up worrying about what other people think, right? We can never control what other people think or feel. We're never all going to agree, and how boring would that be, right? And so if you can focus on being present and fully immersed in God's love for you and His voice, the voice of other people won't matter. So you cannot please everyone. We will not all agree. When you trust in God and focus on love, then the voice of other people matters less. In her section on learning to play, this was a cute chapter, how she talks about carrying her summer with her through the rest of the year. And, you know, again, just a reminder, if you don't set boundaries to intentionally stop working and to intentionally play, you have a tendency to fall back, I know I do, into the hustle and the to-do list. And so I think these days our attention is pulled in so many different directions, especially with technology and our smartphones. There's so much information out there about how to be productive and to maximize your time and make these to-do lists, and I fall into this all the time. Every moment of the day needs to be scheduled, and if I'm not being productive, I find myself feeling guilty about that. And so a reminder for me, this was a very helpful chapter. You know what, just stop sometimes and play. Just play with your kids, because it is those connections, it's their relationships that are the most important. That is very productive time. So to avoid the default into hustle, make time for play. Her section on morning and evening, she talks about something that I am enjoying reminding myself about, is margins. About, again, with that to-do list and the activities being, you know, scheduled throughout the day, if you hit snooze 3 or 4 times and then there's no time for a morning routine before it's time for the kids, if you stay on your phone until it's time for your eyes to go to bed, there's no margin, there's no transition. And she compares how her life at the lake is normally begins and ends outside. And so there's a clear transition between morning and evening, and how important self-care really is. You know, I'm hearing more and more about that these days, especially as I'm preparing for another marathon and getting ready to do my next program. It's self-care is sleep particularly is an area that I feel many of us give up on. And so allow yourself a morning ritual or routine that you enjoy, that gives you some space or cushion between the rest of your day. And the same thing with the evening. You know, maybe a bath time, maybe some time to meditate or journal or do some affirmations in the evening would be a great transition for your evening. In the chapter on simplicity, she talks about something I for sure can feel, and even I had a kind of a funny instance with my son a couple of weeks ago, where we realized that clutter and mess and things, they make you feel grumpy. And you know, I've had to let go of a lot with 4 kids, and I used to think I was real organized, and now I think I have attention deficit disorder because I can't seem to finish one thing before I'm on to the next. And I'll get to a moment in my life where I literally can feel my blood pressure rising, and I'll just kind of look around and say, you guys, can everybody just please take 10 minutes and just get stuff out of here? Like, just put stuff away where it goes, because I have like a DEFCON 5 level, right, where I can't handle it anymore. But so it really does. The clutter and mess makes me crazy, and I know it can do that for a lot of people. So she talks in this chapter about that's true. You know, too many choices, too much clutter, too many options. All of those things are heavy, and there is value in keeping it simple. And so, you know, focus on your relationships and your time and simplifying and decluttering, and you'll feel better. It's true. You'll feel more calm. In her chapter on Happy Medium, she really does admit her struggle continuously, even into her 40s, of how she's not happy with herself, and how many of us can relate to that. I certainly have areas of myself that I just, no matter what I do, I'm not going to be happy with them. I think we all carry those things. So she's honoring that. She's allowing herself space and time for that, to have good and bad days. But you know what? We all can make changes in ourselves. But I don't know about you. You know, depending on what I do, I may fluctuate a few pounds on the scale, but not that much. You know, we get to a place, if we're in a healthy place, where we are what we are. You know, and so we need to be happy with this, and we need to be comfortable, accepting who we are and what we are, and gentleness with yourself, because it's something we're probably going to have to be dealing with for the long haul. And in the last chapter of this section, it's called On Snow. I'm going to begin with her quote from the book of Job, chapter 37, verse 5 and 6. God's voice thunders in marvelous ways. He does great things beyond our understanding. He says to the snow, fall on the earth, and to the rain shower, be a mighty downpour. And this was a really nice ending to this chapter, because what that means is, you guys, God asked the snow to be the snow, and he asked the rain to be the rain. He doesn't ask them to switch places. He created you for a purpose, and that's all he asks you to be, is you, to be that thing he created you for. That's all. So stop trying to be something that you're not. Stop putting on faces. Stop trying to please other people. Rest in the joy that you are working on every day, being a better version of yourself, that what she created you to be. And so this was a beautiful final chapter of this section. You know, God simply wants us to be the thing he already created us for. And what a better way, you know, no better way to end this chapter. My question to you is, what do you need to leave behind in order to be that which God created you to be? Thank you guys so much for following along with this book. I hope it meant as much to you as it did to me. We have one more section that I'll bring to you the next time. And please, as always, leave questions or comments and share your takeaways below.